What is the climate or weather pattern where you live? Do you know what causes the weather to become warmer or colder? Do you make any changes in the clothes you wear to adjust to the changes in the seasons? Do you know how to read a thermometer? What is the temperature when you feel warm? What is the temperature when you feel cold? Do you know that air has several parts, even though you usually can't see them? What do you think air is made of? Can you feel changes in the air? What do you think causes the air to change?
Storms, wind, rain, clouds, blue skies. Weather captures our attention and our imagination. It affects how we live in the world around us, and it's always changing. A dictionary defines weather as the state of the air or atmosphere at a given time or place. Weather is the result of interaction between many elements. There are 4 major ingredients that cause weather. They are energy from the sun, air, water, and the earth. When they interact together, they make up a weather system. The sun sends energy to Earth in the form of light. That's solar energy. Only a few of the light beams that the sun radiates through space reach the Earth. But that's plenty to give the weather system all the energy it needs. Some of the sunlight that reaches Earth bounces right back into space like a flashlight beam reflecting off a mirror. The rest is absorbed or soaked up by the Earth and turned into heat. What are the mirrors that reflect sunlight back into space? Some are tiny objects in the air around us. Specks of dust, smoke and molecules of oxygen, nitrogen and water vapor. These are the objects that scatter the blue rays of sunlight, giving the sky its color. The tops of fleecy white clouds also reflect back the sunbeams. Other reflective surfaces are on the ground. Oceans, lakes, rivers, snowfields, and structures made by people. Most of the sunlight that reaches Earth is absorbed and changed into heat. It's absorbed by plants, by particles in the air, and especially by land and water. Have you ever walked on hot sand or a hot sidewalk? That heat is produced by solar energy. If you place a paper plate full of cool soil in the sunlight, the soil will soak up sunlight and change it to heat. This happens all over the Earth's surface and causes the air to become warm. To find out how warm or cool something is, we measure its temperature. Temperature is the amount of heat that a thing contains. We can check the temperature of water, of the soil, and of course of the air. We use a thermometer to measure temperature. After solar energy, the next part of our weather system is air. And air has parts. These are oxygen and nitrogen gas mostly, plus other gases like water vapor and carbon dioxide. Some solid objects also float in the air, things like dust, smoke, and sea salt. These gases and solid specks are too small for our eyes to see, but our other senses know they are there. Wave your hand in the air above your head like this. You can feel the air. You can feel the air because its gases and invisible floating specks all weigh something just like you and I do. Let's use an example of weighing grapes at the grocery store. A single grape hardly moves this scale. But a whole bagful moves it noticeably. Air's gases and the invisible floating specks are like the bagful of grapes. All together in one place, they have noticeable weight. Weather scientists, called meteorologists, weigh air with a barometer. Just as temperature is the measure of air's heat, barometric pressure is the measure of air's weight at a certain time and place. It's the force of gravity pulling air down. Air's weight can change. Air loses weight when it's warm and gains weight when it's cold. Heat causes the molecules of air to move around. Hotter temperature speeds up the movement. Cooling slows down the movement. Faster moving molecules leave more space between them than slow moving molecules. Let's look at a container of warm air and a container of cold air. The cold air container has more molecules in it and less space between the molecules. So the cold air is heavier than the warm air. Cold air, then, has a high barometric pressure. Warm air has a low barometric pressure. Gravity pulls the heavy cold air down towards the ground, pushing the warm air out of the way. The warm air has nowhere to go but up, like this hot air balloon. So, differences in temperature cause differences in barometric pressure and make the air move, changing the weather. Water is the third major ingredient of our weather. Water is made up of hydrogen and oxygen molecules. Water comes in three states, or forms: solid, liquid, and gas. Heat can change water from one of its forms to another, from solid to liquid, and from liquid to gas. Cooling the water will change it back, from gas to liquid to solid. This change from one form to another and back again is known as the water cycle. Just as heat makes air's molecules move around, heat also causes water's molecules to move around. More energy makes them move faster. Soon, attached molecules break apart from each other. When together, they're a liquid, but when they separate, the water becomes a gas. When water changes from a liquid to a gas, it's called evaporation, and that gas is water vapor. This bowl of water placed in the hot sun will soak up energy from the sunlight. As it heats up, it will change from a liquid to a vapor. It evaporates. When water turns to vapor, it carries heat away with it. You can actually feel the heat leave. Here's an experiment you can do later. Wet your hand like this. Blow on it. Blow on the other hand. Which hand feels cooler? The wet hand feels cooler because blowing evaporates the liquid into vapor. The vapor cools your hand by taking heat away from it. Water in our oceans, lakes, and rivers also evaporates and carries heat away with it. On a hot day, here over the Gulf of Mexico, 5.5 billion gallons of water evaporate every hour. Each year, all over the earth, 95,000 cubic miles of water evaporates. 1/3 of the solar energy soaked up by the earth is used to evaporate water. That evaporated water is in the air around us. It's everywhere, even over the driest desert. But the amount varies from place to place and from time to time. We can measure how much water vapor is in the air. The amount of water in the air is called humidity. 50% humidity means the air is holding 50% of the total amount of water it can hold at that time. The combination of air and water vapor which covers our planet is the atmosphere. The fourth major weather ingredient is the Earth itself. The Earth affects our weather in many ways. It is round, it spins, it tilts, it orbits, and it has gravity. It also has oceans, continents, mountains, polar ice caps, and deserts. All these things can cause the weather to change. Earth's ball-like shape affects temperature. See the bright spot the flashlight makes when its beam hits the center of this globe straight on? Now notice the top and bottom of the globe near the north and south poles. It's much dimmer. The area of the Earth around the equator is struck most directly by the sun's rays, a bit like the flashlight beam hitting the globe. To reach Earth's north or south poles, the sun's rays have to travel further and also have more atmosphere to go through. Sunbeams headed for the tropics and equator have to go a shorter distance and have less interference. Let's see what the Earth's tilt and orbit around the sun do to weather. If we draw an imaginary line through the equator, it will not be in line with the sun's rays. The Earth keeps this same tilt all through its one-year orbit around the sun. It's this tilt and the Earth's orbit that determine our seasons. During the part of the year that the North Pole is tipped towards the sun, it is summer in the northern hemisphere. At the same time, it is winter in the southern hemisphere. That's because in this position, the northern hemisphere is receiving more direct sunlight than the south. When it's winter in the northern hemisphere, it's summer in the south because now the South Pole is tipped toward the sun, and the southern hemisphere receives more rays straight on. The Earth's gravity, surface, and spin change the weather too. Gravity pulls the air down and pulls water down out of the clouds. Oceans and lakes, mountains, valleys, and vast deserts all across the Earth's surface affect air by giving it warmth and blocking its movement. And the Earth's rotation creates night and day. Let's review. Weather is a system made up of 4 separate parts that interact. One part does something to another to change the weather. The 4 parts of the weather system are solar energy, air, water, and earth. A meteorologist is a weather scientist. Solar energy, in the form of sunlight, is absorbed and changed into heat. Temperature is the measure of heat. Air, made of gases and with many invisible floating specks in it, has weight. Cold air weighs more than warm air. Cold air is pulled towards the ground by gravity, forcing the warm air to move up. Barometric pressure is the measure of air's weight. Water comes in 3 states or forms: solid, liquid, and gas. Heat changes water from one form to another, and cooling changes it back. This gives us the water cycle. Water vapor and air make up the atmosphere. The measure of the amount of water vapor in the air is called humidity. The Earth's shape, gravity, surface, rotation, and tilt affect weather. As you continue your study of our weather system, take time to enjoy sunlight, air, water, and the earth, the 4 elements that make up our ever-changing weather system.
What is formed by the interaction of solar energy, air, water, and Earth? A. A planet. What is the measure of the air's weight? Which two things combine to make up the Earth's atmosphere? A. What happens to the molecules in the air when they are heated? What happens to the sunlight that is absorbed into the Earth? A. Which instrument measures temperature? A. What makes air? Water changes form from solid to liquid to gas. What is this process called? What effect does gravity have on cold air? Evaporation turns water into gas. What is the gas called? What happens to water molecules to cause water to turn into water vapor? During the part of the year that the North Pole is tipped toward the sun, what season is it in the Northern Hemisphere? What is the science of weather? What is humidity? What is the force that pulls water out of the clouds? Which statement is true? As gravity pulls cold air downward, what happens to warm air? A. What causes water to change its form? A. What is solar energy? What does water carry away with it as it changes to vapor? A. Dust particles.